Let's start. We are ready, I believe. So hi, everybody. Welcome to Export Opportunities to Italy webinar. My name is Nevsal. I'm the Global Business Development Manager of TradeAtlas. And this organization is held by TradeAtlas Export Academy. So we are continuously organizing webinars and some other organizations. So you could follow our website, TradeAtlas.com, and the Academy's own website to follow the organizations and to attend all of them for freely. Today, we are going to focus on the Italian market specifically. Italy, as everybody knows, is a great country in terms of foreign trade. And is among the first greatest 10 importing countries on the world. And the trade balance of Italy is, we can say it is almost zero. So they sell around $500 billion and they buy slightly less than that one. So a balanced foreign trade data Italy have. And surely it is a very important market for Turkish companies. It's generally in the first five exporting countries for the Turkish exporters. I think the last year it was 6, but generally in the first 5. And since geographically it is very close to us, also considering some current news like the container prices increase, etc. So it is far more important that Italy is an easily accessible market for any Turkish company, not only with containers or ships, but also landline transportation. So today we have two very valued speakers from CSFR Business Consulting from Italy, and Silvio and Fred. And CSFR Business Consulting is TradeAtlas Italy dealer. So we are working together in the Italian market and also for the Turkish companies who are trying to enter the Italian market. So they are going to share their knowledges and experiences about the market. You can ask any question during the presentations via the chat session, chat part of Zoom program, and after the presentations finished, so we will continue with some questions and answers parts specifically that you may ask your questions. So I would like to give a speech to Silvio. He's going to start with his presentation, and then Fred is going to continue. Yeah, Silvio.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Nevsal, for introducing me. And I'm really happy. Good morning to all of you. And I'm really happy and proud to be here. And thanks to TradeAtlas, who chose us as the first, as its first Italian partner, actually. So it's very important for us and for you too, because also Italy and also this is itself a demonstration of the strong relationships that Italy has with Turkey, the strong bilateral relations it has. And what I'm going to show you now is a brief overview of Italy and Turkey and natural friendship. Because I chose to start with the diplomatic relations overview, so we can see that regarding history, the first diplomatic mission to Italy was initiated by the Ottoman Empire in 1856. And then Italy was the second country in the world to officially recognize the Republic of Turkey in 1923. Then Ataturk also allowed the first Italian embassies to be built in Turkish soil. Then, of course, the entrance of Turkey in NATO made the Turkey itself a good candidate for the European Union. So all the initiation of the accession process started. Then the custom union was created. But then, so this fact may allow Turkey to enter within the EU internal market without tariffs, quotas, and so on. But today, unfortunately, after 25 years, Turkey is not part of the European Union, and we Italian people were always supporting the entrance of Turkey in the European Union. So the diplomatic relations, despite the EU divide between Italy and Turkey, have been always strong. The demonstration is the intensity of the visits of Italian presidents of the Republic to Turkey, because of course, the visit of a head of state, diplomatically speaking, is considered to be the highest degree in the measure of bilateral relations between two states. For example, we can mention the visit of President Ciampi to the Monumentum Anciranum, which is the foundation of the symbol of the foundation of Western, but also Eastern society and civilization. Also, we see here the 2009 visit of President Napolitano and his intervention at the University of Ankara. The topic was Past Heritage and Future Challenge, Turkey and Europe in the New Equilibrium of a Global World. So the theme of Turkey efficiently integrated in the European Union was something that never disappeared from the Italian public opinion, but also in the Italian government narrative. But let's get more into details. The EU divide didn't weaken the bilateral Italy-Turkey relations. Instead, Italy-Turkey bilateral relations were even stronger after this EU divide, because we can see that from 2000 on, the whole volume of trade between Italy and Turkey, bilateral trade relations, has been constantly increasing, as we see, for example, while in 2000 the Turkish trade was with Italy was just $1.8 billion and related imports. In just 18 years, the increase was incredible, because you can see by yourself the numbers has increased drastically. So I have defined in 2018 and 2019 the golden years for Italy-Turkey economic and trade relations. As we can see, the composition of Turkey export to Italy are mainly made from road vehicles, iron, steel, textile, all the textile sector, and also fruit and vegetables. Also, according to the International Monetary Fund, Italy was the fourth top destination of Turkish exports. Also, the second golden year registered mainly the same good numbers, and we have other sectors which, as you can see, are strategic sectors, just as general industrial machinery. So all that can make an industry and also an economy stronger and more technological. So Italy and Turkey share a bond a very important bond in strategic sectors, so their economy in during the period between 2000 and 2019 became very, very, very intertwined. So it's not possible now to divide them. In fact, as we can see, the impact of COVID-19 pandemic on Italian-Turkish trade was, of course, it was there was an impact, of course, as on as well as all over the world. But Turkish and Italy showed they're willing to relaunch their economies and their strong bilateral economic and trade relations. As a matter of fact, as we can now we can do a summary of the. I put this timeline with significant dates. For example, in the 60s, the first partnership was created between the Turkish coach holding and the Fiat, the Italian Fiat group. Also, this is the entrance of Turkey in the custom union with the EU. Then in 2005, there is the formal EU accession negotiations. But of course, there was a big stop by the French government, which considered the entrance of Turkey not convenient for the European Union. But also we have some interesting and more recent dates. In 2015, for example, besides the G20 presidency of Turkey, we have some data of Unicredit Yapı Kredi union. We see that Unicredit Italia registered the female total employees data are much more lower than the Yapı Kredi ones. So this gives us the idea of how Turkey, in tandem with Italian companies, strengthened its democratic infrastructures, strengthened its economic and business leverage, even in terms of corporate modernity, corporate mentality, corporate open-mindedness. So here we have the most recent years, and we can see here in 2017 important agreement between Ministry of Trade of Turkey and Italian SACE. SACE is one of the most important, is a state-owned Italian company, and it is also an internationally recognized export credit agency under the CDP group, which is Cassa Depositi e Prestiti group. And we can see that in 2017, the Italian investment in Turkey valued almost double compared with 2016, $80 million, and here we have $124 million. And also Turkish investments in Italy, if we see these investments in 2017 and then we go to 2018, we see also an increase in Turkish investments in Italy, plus 4 million. So here we arrived to last year, 2020, which was a tragic year, of course, for all the world, and of course, as I said, the Italian-Turkish relations got a little bit weaker, but the strength of the trade relations, as I said, they are very intertwined economies and industries. didn't suffer so much from COVID. In fact, in 2020, the number of Italian companies in Turkey remained almost the same. We see it's a really good number. And also the Joint Economic Trade Commission played a very important game, also in distance, because it was a commission that it was held in webinar via digital tools, but it was also very important that it showed the willingness of the two countries to be intertwined, to get stronger again after COVID. So the proof is that in December 2020, our foreign ministers decided to have a common target to increase bilateral relation trade volume from the actual 19 billion to $30 billion. It's a very ambitious target. Actually, it's very ambitious, also considering the crisis that we are facing. Also, our new Prime Minister Mario Draghi in March 2021 showed his support for Turkey as a valuable NATO ally and a good friend of the European Union. And he also stressed the need, this very urgent need to update the customs union, of course. So we can give, we have given past and present perspectives, and now we can, in a certain way, give also future projections. Also, the next generation EU recovery funds that have been negotiated by our former Prime Minister Conte. That is a really huge amount of money. Will play a pivotal role in maybe in fostering future important joint businesses between Turkish and Italian companies, especially in other important sectors like energy industry, but also health, considering, of course, the pandemic, and also the education sector. So we can see that we can identify in these future years some events that could foster an increase in economic cooperation between Italy and Turkey. So maybe the FIFA World Cup in Qatar also will push potential joint opportunities. But this was due by a simple fact that Italy and Turkey, besides having a general common geopolitical stance, so they tend to ally to be in the same alignment. Also, they supported Qatar during the embargo, the regional embargo, which was between 2017 and 2021. So here we have a possible trend of the increase of the trade flow, as according to the strategic target that our foreign ministers set together. And here we have a very interesting map that I made, mapping a friendship, because as you see in the map, you can find enlisted all the main companies. So here we have the Italian companies in Turkey, and here we have the Turkish companies, not of course not all the companies, but the most relevant ones. For example, Ilport and Sisecam Group, they won a bid to have this mandate to work in the port of Taranto in the region of Apulia. In his presentation, Frederick will stress the point and the opportunity of possible Turkish companies to be included in the creation of a free zone that is Capo Bianco. But this theme will be covered by Fred. The sectors remain mostly the same, but I also stress the financial one, which is a very, very strategic one. Also, besides textile and energy and the industry, of course, fashion, I would stress also home interior. All that's related to textile can go into home interior. So also insurance companies are really can have and can play their role in bilateral relations, also for Turkish companies that aim to access the Italian market. So, which are the import, export, I say key factors for strengthening the presence of Italian companies in Turkey? But in this case, in this webinar, the point is to allow Turkish companies and Turkish exporters or even Turkish importers to have some hints and have some tricks, some useful advices to enter the Italian economic environment and trade and market, of course. But first, the history, as you saw, the history as I illustrated before, we have strong cultural, diplomatic, and economic ties. So consequently, similar cultures, and we have also similar characters. So as an advice for companies, there might be no hesitation to approach Italy and Italian companies with confidence, because as according to a recent interview to Italian businessmen who have made lots of business in Turkey, they said the 90% of them, they are really satisfied, and they are willing to keep investing in Turkey. So Turkish is acquiring very good reputation in that, and Turkish companies must be aware of this and exploit this opportunity. So feel free to establish good partnership with the Italian companies, based also on successful stories of Turkish companies in Italy. And also be sure to fill the gaps and needs of Italian market, which can be, for example, big infrastructures. For example, as Fred will tell you, in the southern Italy, that has a problem of a lack of infrastructural means, and of course all that regards infrastructure. Also in the field of e-commerce, because actually Italian companies suffered a lot from the lack of digitalization internally within their company. So maybe the transition from offline activities to online activities was really impactful and was dramatic. Many companies were and maybe are unfortunately destined to perish for this lack of digital tools, of digital capacities also. So maybe an opportunity for Turkish companies, as we can also witness personally of TradeAtlas being in partnership with a Italian consulting agency. So we are a perfect proof of this potential market. So, as I said, be sure to be aware of the good perception that Italian investors have of the Turkish counterparts. Also, Turkish embassies and consulates in Italy are well connected with the territory. This is a fact that I know personally. They have a really good reputation. They are really intertwined with the Italian territory and society. So you can also exporters, Turkish exporters and company, you can get advantage of this. And then other key factors could be the field of cooperation, for example. The Italian-Turkish Association, the East-West European Institute, actually, who's engaging in many Italian-Turkish training programs, and also it has a consulting agency. Then, of course, why not? Let's take advantage of existing agreements and relationships with the state-owned agency that I mentioned before, SACE. SACE is an insurance financial company that has been recognized as one of the best and most affordable and most reliable and accountable export credit agency, not only for Italy, but also for Europe and Middle East, because as you will see in the links that I provided to you in my research, you will find the addresses of the SACE and ICE, also the Italian Trade Agency headquarters that are located in Istanbul, and you can go there and you can interact with the Italian counterparts that also speak Turkish. So there is a really strong territorial bond also between Italian agencies and Turkish agencies. Then, of course, rely on Italian institutions as well, because in primis the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation and the MAECI, which is our palace in Farnesina, located in Rome. But last but not least, rely on good consulting agencies that can have that plus value that can help you to balance your relationship as a Turkish company, a Turkish exporter that is willing to approach Italy. A good consulting agency that can help you to balance the relationship between Italian institutions, private investors, private companies, and can give you the right strategy, a strategy tailored for your company, your sector, and also your business case. So this is a little strategy that I wanted to share with you, how to access the Italian market. I see it as a three-line highway. So the main lane is an institutional lane, because you cannot, of course, you cannot go anywhere if you don't have good relationships with Italian institutions. You're not recognized. You're not in firm and constant relationship with Italian institutions. Also state-owned firms like SACE, CIMES, and all the CDP group. Then we can say that there is also a lane a road to pass, that is the private company's middle lane. What does it mean? It means that, of course, in tandem with institutional contact making, you also must be able to start to be proactive in searching and starting good relationships and also simply exchanges of view, exchanges of knowledge, of know-how with the Italian companies. This fact could seem a bit naive, but maybe it will it might create some mutual trust that is not something of no importance, of course, because mutual trust is the base of both governmental and non-governmental relationships. Then I called it the consulting fast lane because, of course, when you want to increase, you want to fasten the processes of approach to the market, you have a maybe you might need a little boost. So, for example, our business agency, CSFR, can provide you a tailored strategy for you, Turkish company in any sector, to access in the right way both Italian institutions with refunding opportunities and bids and so on, plus a set of direct contacts with our most trusted companies and clients, so people that we know personally. What can I add more? Yeah, a little quotation for our former ambassador in the Republic of Turkey. Turkey needs the West, and the West also needs Turkey. So this is the Galata Tower, which represents the mixture between Western, of course, Genoa people from Genoa building this tower in the Eastern civilization. So it is the perfect embodiment and symbol of the cooperation, in this case, architectural cooperation, cultural cooperation between the West and the East. So Turkey is a main factor, is a main actor in this relationship. So here, if you are curious or you want to delve in deeper details, you can have a look at the references, at the sources of my researches. And also I've prepared for you some links that can help you to, for example, our website, and also the website of SACE, and here you can find the right location of the precise location of SACE territorial offices in Turkey, and also the ICE territorial offices in Turkey. Or they are all located in Istanbul, I think. So thank you for your attention, and I hope that might be useful for you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Silvio. This was a great presentation about the Turkey-Italian trade, plus some of the political issues which affects it, and the key factors. The customs union is really important for Turkish exporters. Still, there are a lot of way to go about customs union, and recovery fund of the European Union is also critical, not only for Italy, but surely for all the countries who are going to receive this fund, how it is going to be spent, which sectors is going to be affected greatly. Surely these are going to affect the trade between Turkey and all these countries. Silvio, we have a question. Can you just check the chat part?
Oh, okay. I'll stop the sharing and care for the chat. Okay. So the first answer is: do you think EU Custom Union upgrade shall satisfy Turkey's concerns about EU commercial policy with third countries while concluding free trade agreements? Okay. This is not an easy question to answer, of course, but I will try to cover it as far as I can. I think that upgrading the trade union that was created and drafted and designed in almost 30 years ago is something that is needed, despite all the concerns. I think that's something that is necessary, despite all the political, diplomatic, economic concerns. So I think this is the first step to make, and the quality of this upgrade, I think, will be a determinant factor in terms of future commercial policies of the EU, because if Turkey has good negotiation tables with the EU, of course, the trade union will be beneficial for both parties. So the European Union will get more confident about Turkey, and Turkey will benefit from more convenient trade agreements. So I think that's something that can be resolved within the level of diplomatic negotiation and not political and economic private concerns. So it's something that can be discussed and must be discussed in a very precise and mutual manner. So no one must be dissatisfied, or so everything should be transparent. So I hope that my answer has fulfilled the question.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks a lot, Silvio. So it's time for the Frederick. If you do not have any question to Silvio, you can still ask your questions later. But if for now we don't have any questions, so it's time for Frederick for his presentation.
That's it.
Yeah. Okay. We cannot hear you, Frederick.
Sorry. Okay. I hope now it's better.
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay. I would like obviously to thank Silvio and Nevsal for the introduction and a warm welcome to everyone. Before starting my presentation, I would just take a small moment to explain why we chose to do this webinar right now. In fact, it's related to the topic that we will treat. The topic is mainly next generation EU. So the funds that are ready to be invested from the European Parliament for the 27 countries, as UK decided to leave. We are in 27. And now the plans were put to side so that the European Parliament could evaluate the terms and conditions of the single state investment plans. And now we can also say something more clearer about what will be the target of which investments, mainly related to Italy, obviously. So what will we discuss right now? It's obviously that the Next Generation EU Fund was created mainly to be a counterpart to the COVID-19 impact on all on all economies, even of the 27 European countries. So they decided to raise the credit, about 750 billion of euros. And Italy is granted 192 billions out of them. And the main investments will go into the sectors internationalization, digitalization, as Silvio said before, especially also the e-commerce aspect will be treated with these projects. The eco-sustainability, the Go Green as a great area, and the touristic sector. Then we will pass over to the opportunities that are in place right now in Italy, now that we know how to invest this huge amount of money. It will certainly be the part of the corporations, the innovation, research, investment, then which reason for which sector, and as Silvio mentioned already, the creation of the large port in called Capo Bianco in Brindisi, so the region of Apulia. The ways to approach surely are via public and private organizations, local contacts, and not to forget the best practice like TradeAtlas. So, if we are speaking about next generation EU, the intent was obviously to help the member states to restart the economy post-COVID. The main thinking or reasoning was if every member state would take a credit on its own, the quotation would be far higher, so that the interest in some would be much higher than if our European Parliament would take these credits for their member states. They are created mainly by credits. A part obviously is already from the European budget itself. And the investments that will be raised from these funds obviously need to respect certain requirements, to which we will pass afterwards. The principle proposed, the next generation, so the name-giving aspect was that Europe is very intended to get a stable and sustainable European market that can play an important role in the global market. How it will work? Every country had to deploy an investment program so that it could be evaluated by the European Parliament, and then they came back to each country, to the Italian on June 22, so really not far ago, and they gave to the program of Italy 10 A's, so the best votes. The next generation EU fund for the Italian part is mainly distributed in digitalization with 50 billions. Out of this 40 billions, the e-commerce will get a slice of 13.4 billions. The eco-sustainability, mainly Go Green aspect, will be charged with 59.5 billions, and the touristic sector with 6.7 billions. Obviously, one should also watch the aspect of the internationalization that is mainly supported by public supports, such as the Siemens Corporation that is substantiating quite often in the past 2 years funds to increment the internationalization aspect. The fact of the cooperation. Surely Silvio named already a few cooperational functions that are in place right now. One of the most interesting right now is the TexMed. It's a cooperation form in this textile sector that tries to group all Mediterranean coasts, creating partnerships and cooperations between small and medium-sized enterprises to promote also this geographical area, so the Mediterranean area. By logics from the Italian side, it's mainly targeting the south of Italy. But this idea of the European collaboration projects obviously needs also to be extended to the whole country of Italy, because seeing especially research and innovation aspects, it's quite interesting to create also corporations in that sector because, as we all know, as a small or medium-sized company, the funds to do deep research, especially in the eco-sustainable area, is hard to achieve. So that their cooperation is really interesting for small and medium-sized companies all over the world. That obviously brings us to the fact that the search for partners doesn't exclude potential partners from foreign countries, because the globalization surely also in this sector needs to take further place. The innovation and research aspect, especially intended as the eco-sustainable or circular economy aspects, are one of the main targets of the next generation package, and therefore obviously also for the companies that would like to obtain some funds out of these projects. The European Parliament already stated that the refinanciation will be mainly targeted by further taxes on CO2 emissions and waste expenses. So obviously it's these two parts are of great focus for research and innovation aspects. Right now, there is already a big movement that goes to the green sector, especially on biological based products that possibly are innovative and target also the recycling, so the after life cycle of the products. And in this area, surely we have already some success stories. One of the latest is the one from Gucci, that with his product line called Demeter was able to produce a textile line that is, if I'm not totally wrong, with 70% of pure biological materials, so that they are also easily to recycle. The European Union was getting along with the public mainstream. If you are watching the political directions that the different European countries, especially Germany and Italy, are just taking, the green electorate becomes always stronger, because obviously we have also the climate that surely has an impact not only on our natural resources but on the economy as its whole. And so that the research and innovation surely is also not only a tax aspect but also a pure economic advantage aspect that the enterprises are aiming right now. The European Parliament spread already the voice that they are quite keen on pointing out the concept. Right now they are speaking from in 3 years' time, where they would like to introduce a new regulation that states that the products that are placed or treated in the Schengen area need to have a recycling concept, because without it, the trade wouldn't be accepted. So it's a fact that we should point out right now, because it's better to prepare right now than to wait the 3 years' time and then to see how to re-elaborate or to create such a recycling concept or an eco-sustainable concept. There it depends a bit on what the wording will be, then more precise. Surely the keywords that are raised in this matter are the CO2 neutral production, eco-sustainable, bioplastics, alternative energy sources, green, and so on. The investments related for Italy, apart from the funds that we were already seeing at the beginning of this part, are quite interesting, because obviously it's an amount that never was raised before in the European region. So from the volume. Surely it's really interesting, so that it generates surely some opportunities going along with the risks, as most of these funds need to be refinanced by the European Parliament, as mentioned, via taxes. And obviously, everyone that is trying to exceed these funds needs to have a certain commitment, because the requirements need to be met from each country, and each country obviously needs to show a payoff to the European Parliament. If you want to have a closer look on the precise distribution and allocation of the funds that are stated by the Italian Parliament, you can find it under the keyword PNRR. It's the Piano Nazionale di Resilienza. I found the link that I put here. Not sure if there is already the English version, as surely on the European side you can find the draw of the Italian Parliament in English. The productive sector and the needed infrastructure, mainly related to the south, surely is met also in these requirements for the funds, and paired with the investments or promotions by Siemens and such, we have right now surely a time where the import and export extension, especially in forms of or terms of cooperation and partnerships, will be rising quite strongly, as it's now the time to act. Italy, let's say, traditionally was divided in a geographical and economic way in two great areas. The one at the north that was always more industrialized, and the south that has mainly the agricultural and touristic factors that were carrying the introits. Before the European or next generation EU funds, there was already a bigger movement in the south that wanted not only to promote the agricultural and touristic sector, but was already aiming and basing on the research aspects, because the green innovation surely is nothing totally new to us. And so they started more or less in 2013 to create the required infrastructures, because obviously research and innovation goes always along with determined infrastructures. The focus was mainly on airports and port infrastructure. Due to the next EU funds, now the aspects that will be included are also the street and railway. And obviously, the funds will quicken up the progresses that were made before already. So the north traditionally is of large interest for the industrial, textile, and technological materials, as for the raw materials, as also for materials of all kinds of elaboration status, obviously with a technological impact. The degree of the elaboration technology required is surely related or seen a difference to the south, more progressive, so that the products that have a higher technological standards are surely easier to be sold and treated in the northern part. But it is to be said, especially also with the topic of the research in mind, that the south is getting and catching up the north, but nevertheless is using or applying a different strategy than the north, because they try more to point to the renewable sources and eco-sustainability, seeing that that will be the market of the future, and they would or they are eager to set a progress that will create also a long-term success. Coming to one of the projects that are actually taking place in the south, the so-called port Capo Bianco, that is a free zone port. It's the second that will be created in Italy. Why will be created? Because right now they are still searching for an operator that will take over the handling of the port. So if someone of you is in this sector, he could refer. Finding under the topic Capo Bianco surely is the key persons to refer to. The port is previewed to have a dimension of 121,650 square meters. So it will become a huge free zone port. And considering these dimensions, surely it wouldn't be only a traffic port, but will have some logistic centers that will stitch to almost every sector. So this sector can be a great opportunity also to see in a cooperational way how to access part of the port infrastructure. And we are coming right now to the way one could successfully approach the Italian market. And surely Silvio was pointing out before already the public and private organizations you can contact. The local contact is a point that is quite interesting right now, because due to the fact that many of the small and medium-sized enterprises have no IT department to create e-commerce structures and international business tools, surely they are keen on having consultancies like we are doing, so that this allows us to have a larger spread of customers that are of very different sectors, so that surely you could also approach to us if you found out or pointed out a region or a specific client. It's surely another very valid way to access the Italian market and find possible cooperation partners or clients would be TradeAtlas. And there now I would like to pass to Nevsal, that he gives you the closer look on how to use very successfully TradeAtlas. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, Frederick, for this presentation. So as you said, green products, green production and alternative energy. So these topics are today not only important for recycling industry or the its own industry, but for even almost every product. It is people are interested in such certificates or such production techniques. Also, the cooperatives and clusters is important. Yeah, Turkey is. I was working for in Ankara for Ostim Organized Industry Region in 2006. So it was the very beginning of some clusters in Ostim, just gathering companies doing similar businesses. And this is also, as I know, important in Italy also. So the companies are generating cooperatives and clusters, and they are moving together. And as you said, this is not necessarily be the Italian companies. So it is most of these organizations are open for international companies also doing similar businesses. So these are important points for companies who would like to enter to Italy. I may just in brief tell you how to find some companies that you could trade via TradeAtlas within a couple of minutes, and now we may go to the questions and answers part. So I will share my screen. So this is our website, as you know, and you could search through HS codes and the product names, importers, exporters. We also have a free track that you could see 1 year data of the United States to better understand how the system works. And you can see the packages here. one of the main important parts of the website is the data coverage part, and specifically for Italy, we have 140,000 Italian importers who already did more than 6 million transactions worldwide. Imported some materials. So I believe still there are more than a couple of companies who would be interested in your products. Just the thing is, you may do the research on the system to find the Italian companies, and this doesn't necessarily be the basic search. Like, yeah, it is clear that you could write an HS code, say in the electrical part, and then here you can write the Italy, and for the last 6 years I'm going to find the Italian importers who are importing this the electrical piece. So we have more than 500 companies, but so the HS code and the company importer and exporter names and the product details could be taught as the basic search, but you can also make some advanced search just to be able to find more Italian companies. For example, say you are producing a raw material which is used in textile production. So if you can find some Italian companies who are exporting textile products, then you are sure that these companies are using, buying or importing these raw materials. And you could also find some similar or complementary products. For example, we are trying to sell hazelnut to the Italy, and we know that most of the companies, most of the countries in the world are buying the sugar and the cacao from Africa and Latin America. So we could also track similar or complementary products on the system to find new customers to try to expand our exports. So we have a contact here, as you know. You may contact to our sales team, and they are going to make you a special presentation and introduction. Surely it's free for your company and for your products, that you would better understand how deep the data is and how you can use it to find importers, not only in Italy, but surely for all over the world. So please welcome to ask any question to Silvio or Frederick, or I may answer if it's related to TradeAtlas. And check the chat part. We have a question. We have two questions here from Mr. Hussein and Mr. Yiğit. So, Frederick, would you like to check the questions?
Yes, I'm reading through it right now. Sorry.
My question is in second part.
Okay.
Yeah.
At the end of the second part. About Barcelona Declaration.
Yes. Okay.
Priorities for facilitating the establishments of the free trade area for all Mediterranean area.
Okay, it's the part with regarding the China's aggressive rise in the last 20, right? Is it that part? Oh.
No, the other one, last paragraph. Last one, the last sentence, my questions.
It says from Dr. Yiğit Koyman.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, because there was something in the mid then I saw.
Yeah,
the Chinese is not my questions.
Yeah, there is another question for China.
I will reply then.
Okay, China is yours, Silvio. Then the hard questions about the free trade agreements, because Turkey is really in a problematic situation for that we cannot sit on the table, we cannot decide, but we are totally affected with anything the European Union does and signs. So the exporters are having a common problem in that manner. Yes. I don't know if you have power to solve this, but the comments is also important.
Yes, sure. Let's say it's a question, very well meant question, because the free trade area surely is a fact that is impacting not only on Turkey and Europe, but you can also see it for UK and Europe. I believe that one should always also look at the bilateral side, because free trade areas can be bypassed, like the free zone part in Brindisi. That would be, let's say, a keen way of bypassing restrictions to the free trade area. Right now, there's so much movement in the sector, not only EU related to other countries, but also within the European Union, because I surely assume that you heard also about travel restrictions that due to the Schengen area agreement shouldn't be in place. Right now are in place with Lisbon, so that I believe that actually the free trade agreements are more reliable on a bilateral and multilateral side than if we try to speak of them as a whole. Because there's too many troublings right now, also with impact still post-COVID or new COVID, as you want to name it. I believe that especially if we can get along with the eco-sustainable agreements, and in terms of research, and also in terms because Europe as a whole has some special agreements related to these sectors with recycling areas that are out of Europe and have on a proper manner no free trade agreement, where they did a special bypassing passage on European side, so that we have already segmentation of the free trade areas, not speaking of it as a whole. I don't know if that will help you, because surely the political aspects need to be divided by segments. We can't speak anymore of an economic free trade area that comports or excludes everything. In healthcare aspects, we have surely already other agreements that are pointing out that the free trade area restrictions are not valid for this sector. We have it also for research on eco-sustainable aspects. We have for recycling topics, we have a special research agreement with Mexico, just to name a few passages where you can already see that you can't speak of it as a whole. So I wouldn't be too bothered by the fact if officially it's included or excluded in a part of a free trade area agreement, because there are many special. So certainly it's a thing that we should talk about on a special product topic. If we can restrict it to a key area, perhaps, then it would be easier to say yes or no.
Yeah, Mr. Yiğit, do you have any comments? If no, we will go to the China question.
No, it's okay. He explained it generally. My question is about only with the Barcelona Declaration, but his explanation is quite right. It's okay for me. It's okay. Thank you very much. Thank you. And also best luck against Belgium in European final qualify.
Thanks a lot. I will come back to it when we see the game. Hopefully not, again, a long way running and suffering.
I think you will win. I think you will win.
I hope you are right.
Yeah, your number 10 is really very nice football player.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes.
So Silvio, for the China question.
Yes. So thank you, Dr. Gamturk, for your question, because it's really well designed and gave me some challenge, let's say, regarding the China's aggressive rise in the last 20 years and dominating the world's cheap supplier position, do you believe Turkey, which has a proximity advantage, can be a sustainable alternative supplier of Europe? You mean for Europe? Yeah, okay. In particular for Italy, by bypassing China's role. Okay, I think bypassing is really dangerous. Bypass, dangerous word, but yeah. I think that my answer might be quietly a very slight yes. Why not? Because we all know that, of course, China has exploited its position of rising power against the ruling power, as the scholars suggested over the years, in supplying goods at a very low price, thus disrupting all the the economic relations between the West and the East. So finally arriving to the latest trade war between Trump and Xi Jinping that we saw in the last few years. Of course, there's been this aggressive stance of China, but and I believe that Turkey, of course, not in the same way as China did for 20 years, because China was also the advantage of China in this aggressive rise was also to be in the right place at the right moment of history. So now, because basically China in over these 20 years has played the game of acquiring titles, acquiring state titles of the United States, and so thus financing the internal U.S. deficit, while the U.S. is continuing putting taxes and taxes over taxes in imports and exports. So it is a very dangerous cycle that is really difficult to cut. So I think that Turkey, if Turkey wants to play a bigger role in not bypassing, I mean, but make itself an alternative, a good and accountable alternative and authoritative alternative to China for Europe and for Italy. Turkey should engage. I think should engage in a very big nation rebranding process, like we Turkey want to be a player next to the EU and for the EU, and not to be in any other possibly negative dialectical relationship with the EU. So in order to be like a China for Europe, Turkey, in my opinion, should engage in this rebranding and have a more constructive and precise talk and role within the European talks, and also regarding the Mediterranean. So I can match with the previous question of Dr. Koyman. Yeah, also enhancing the Barcelona Agreement is something that the French government did, but it needs to be reinforced by the main actors in the Mediterranean environment, namely Spain, Italy, France, and also Greece, which actually should embrace a more proactive role in policy making, in making the Mediterranean a new possible area of free trade, of friendly relationships, and this also could help major crises like the Libyan situation, the Syrian situation. So I think that the Mediterranean basin is something that is being overviewed, really underrated, an underrated issue, and now it's time to confront it and face it. And I think that Turkey is the right player to do this in the best.
Thank you for your extra contribution, Mr. Magnolo. Thank you.
Thank you. I hope I also satisfied Gamturk's
yeah, thank you.
question.
That was pretty illuminating. Regarding one of your slides, you said West needs Turkey, Turkey needs West, Europe
Yes.
in particular. This kind of symbiotic relationship forces both sides to work together in more constructive manner. So I hope in the future, for the future of both Europe and Turkey, it will be an advantage. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm sure of that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. So is there any question? I would like to introduce Ms. Sabri. Most of you know, probably, she's the sales manager. So she has a couple of words about TradeAtlas. Yeah, it's your turn.
Mr. Magnolo, Mr. Zardo, thanks a lot for this valuable information. And nice to meet you. Ben bundan sonra Türkçe devam edeyim, yoksa tamamen şeyi parçalayacağım. Toplantıyı parçalayacağım. TradeAtlas İhracat Akademisi olarak sizlerle her hafta bir toplantıda, bir webinarda buluşuyoruz. Bu hafta CSFR, bizim İtalya bayimiz, Sayın Silvio Magnolo ve Sayın Frederick Zardo ile buluştuk ve bize değerli bilgilerini aktardılar. Önümüzdeki hafta Perşembe günü Demir İpek Yolu webinarımızda burada yer alıyor olacağız. Webinarlarımız biz olduğumuz sürece ücretsiz oluyor olacak. Sizleri aramızda görmekten mutluluk duyuyoruz. 85 ülkede TradeAtlas kullanılıyor ve 230 ülkede kullanılma hedefimiz var. Ve bu webinarlarla sizleri adım adım ihracatta ve ithalatta bir adım öteye götürmek istiyoruz. Teşekkürler katılımlarınız için. Nevsal Bey, çok teşekkürler. Size de. Görüşmek üzere önümüzdeki hafta.
Okay, thank you for everybody. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Have a nice day.
Thank you.